No, Carter was like, he didn't support Nader. He didn't support labor. I mean, as I've always told people, he was probably one of the worst presidents of the 20th century.
Actually,
for the
so
left.
this is what we're going to do, because we're going to go to the post game in a few minutes.
Wow,
But what time is it actually?
No, I was surprised how fast things move. I always
of course,
forget.
it's great. Oh gosh, yeah, we got to go to the post game. But before we go to the post game, I want, and I'm sorry to do this because we know Jimmy Carter as basically a lovely old man. No, but honestly, can you just complete the loop and explain why, from the foreign policy lineage you look at, the Carter administration was also enormously damaging?
It was enormously damaging in two senses. I think one unintended, and then one just maybe intended. So one, by introducing the language of human rights into American politics without a socialist politics, as Sam Moyn has argued very much.
Illicit history rights are not enough with Samuel Moyn. Check it out.
This is great. So by introducing that, he basically paved the way for liberal interventionism, which became the dominant, I think, foreign policy ideology of the 1990s and 2000s. So that's very problematic. And then what's more, so let's say the first 2 years of Carter's term are defined by this human rights politics, which has these long-term effects that he couldn't have foreseen. Fine. But the second, I think the people don't appreciate about Carter is that in the last 2 years of his term, he really laid the groundwork for the Reaganite foreign policy. He becomes much more
touch on Afghanistan.
Yeah, Afghanistan, challenging the Soviet Union in Afghanistan, not knowing how to respond to the Iranian Revolution, totally laying these ridiculous attempts to free the hostages, destabilizing these regions. To what end? Not pursuing our arms control agreements in the proper way, I think, with the Soviet Union. So it's sort of you have the worst of both worlds. You have the worst of unthinking liberalism and this sort of liberal interventionism that leads to nowhere. And then plus sort of laying the groundwork for this Reaganite second Cold War of the early 1980s, which increases an enormous amount of money spent on defense, taken away from other resources within the American state. And then, of course, I think at least leads to the emergence of this militarist culture in which we grew up. Having all these planes at football games, all these military marching bands, et cetera, is sort of this return to this 50s early Cold War moment was, I think, really Carter laying the groundwork, and that Reagan picked up the torch and really ran with it.
You've just watched a Michael Brooks show video, and you can watch all of our full main live shows every Tuesday night at around 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and subscribe to get all of the clips you want. We're covering the globe. We're focusing on international relations, the intellectual dark web. We're having fun. We're doing deep dives with a lot of amazing guests. Of course, become a patron for the whole thing at patreon.com/TMBS, or subscribe to this YouTube channel and help us keep growing and get that content out there. Subscribe below.